Not too bad, man. It's good to talk to you again. I know it's exciting to be able to talk to you again with the new rings, new championship. I know excited.
Well,
Uh,
I'd be more excited if we can do it again next year.
I like y'all's chances, man. But I want to ask you this: first undefeated season in conference play in program history. Another appearance in the FCS playoffs. I believe it's the fourth for you as the head coach. What what was it about last year's team that clicked for you? Because each championship team's special. What was special about last year's program?
I talked about it before. In that locker room, it was something that was different. And we went into the season, and we always got to play the FBS schedule. Tough. We lost to Sacramento State at home on a Thursday night against a good FCS program. Right? Didn't really know who we were. Went down to TCU and Tulane, and so we were 0-3. I told the coaches that day, I said, we still got a good football team. And I got to give credit to the players in that locker room. They held it together. They knew we had the talent. They knew they had something that it took. It didn't show in the record as 0-3. And we were patient. And we got that first win, and you saw the confidence grow as it went on. And then we kind of developed into who we were, a little bit team that can run the football, play some defense, get some stops. So yeah, early on, I knew we had a good football team, but I got to give those guys credit because it had been easy at 0-3 to start doubting in some of the things that we were doing.
Yeah, I was at that Sacramento State game. I came down to see that one. I thought you guys were more competitive than people gave you guys credit for in that one, and especially late in that game,
Right.
offense started to kind of click a little bit, and you saw the potential. I do want to talk about your secondary, though,
Okay.
Coach. They were one of the top in the nation in forcing turnovers, really stingy. Talk a little bit about the development led by Tyler Morton, obviously All-American. What have you seen from that secondary going into 2024? Could you make a run at possibly leading the nation in interceptions next year, you think? Or how
You
good
know,
do you think that secondary could be?
Well, I think we can be pretty good. I really do. In fact, my wide receiver coach came to me the other day and said, Coach, this may be the best secondary we've ever had. And he's been with me the whole 10 years.
Wow.
We got those guys returning, and we added a couple pieces to the puzzle. And sometimes you don't know what you have. We signed a JUCO and we signed a transfer, and all of a sudden they become pretty good players, and it adds to that depth. So you start getting that competition. But I think it does start with Tyler. I mean, he is that ringleader. He won't settle. I got to go a step further than that. Darian Monroe, the guy who took over coaching the secondary, our defensive backs coach, does a tremendous job with those guys and teaching and developing and doing the fundamentals. But then Tyler gets those guys. They constantly watching film. They're so competitive in the stuff that they do. So watching those guys work is really, really fun. I think we got a chance because, again, this will help them. You know this, Zach. When you're good up front, you know how much
Yes.
it helps those guys in the back end.
Absolutely, coach. And obviously, we'll get to the running game soon because
Mhm,
obviously Jalen Spears and Colin were elite
mhm,
last year. I want to talk about your quarterback, Pat.
mhm.
What's next in his development? Now, obviously, last year was his first year as the full time starter. Show some promise. What do you want to see out of Pat going into 2024?
So look, Pat will be the first. We joke with him because we talk about Chase 4K, and what Chase meant to our program, and it was so good. And Pat always jokes. He says, "Yeah, but I'm the only one that went undefeated in conference." Okay, good running joke right there. But he needs to be more consistent. He knows he was not playing his best last year. He needs to more consistent. Look, he doesn't have the powerful arm. You know what I mean? That some of the other quarterbacks have. He's not 6'4". He understands that, but he's such a leader, and he does. And I think he's going to take that leadership. Look, we were talking about earlier about the Manning camp. That they have at our place, and how you ought to see how he fit in with those quarterbacks. He really did. So I do think he's ready to take another step in being more consistent, protecting that football that we got to have and doing those type of things. So I'm excited that he's back. He's such a leader for us over there, on that side of the ball.
Now, running back is kind of the staple for Nicholls, and it was last year. Jalen Spears, all-purpose All-American selection. Colin Guggenheim kind of offers the opposite, where he's a downhill runner. And I mean, I've never seen a running back wear a neck roll before and not be a physical runner.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about that dynamic duo, and do you expect that to be y'all's identity again this year? Downhill running
Yeah.
and use the athleticism.
Yeah, you say that, and we like to think we're balanced. Okay, but we do believe that you have to run the football, and it starts up front, and you got to be able to run it. And on the flip side, we always talk about you got to be able to stop the run on the other side of the ball. But it just kind of took a. We knew the year before how talented Jalen Spears was. I mean, we really did. He just hadn't done it. He just hadn't had that. And then all of a sudden, when he started getting that confidence, it was incredible. That 1-2 punch, that became. And the funny thing is, we got some other running backs that's pretty good too. That can add to that mix. One of them, I was saying the other day, we moved him to defense linebacker because we have to get him on the field. He's that good. So I'm excited about those guys come back, and they really had a good summer. Both of them had a good summer also.
Coach, I appreciate your time, man. Congrats on another conference championship FCS playoff appearance, and I'm looking forward to talking to you after the season, and hopefully it's in the postseason once again.
All right, Zach. Thanks, man. Appreciate all you do.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you.